What is up, everybody? Today will be the weekly outlook for July 6th to July 10th. And this video, I'm pretty much going over, right, what names we're going to keep an eye out for, what levels, and also what's happening in the overall markets, right? Context matters a lot this week, especially, and so let's go right into the video. So let me pull up pretty much what news we had this week, right? What Rev 4 news we have. So let me do this. So Monday, we have Rev 4 news. Wednesday we have our floor news, and Thursday we have one orange floor news. So not a lot of news this week, right? If you go like past weeks, right, we usually have way more news. So this week, right, I know it's the week right after July 4th, so that's the reason why. But there's not a lot of news, so we have to keep it out for choppiness, right? See if prices consolidates after that big kind of drop we had on Friday. So we have to keep an eye out that. So that's why we have to keep it out for which levels we want to see us reclaim. So we can trade off those. Otherwise, if you don't reclaim those levels, then there's no trade because we're likely going to be in range. So let's get into the video. So first name I want to talk about is going to be Tsla, right? This name has just been chopping around very, very violently. I'm going to be honest, in this 400 zone. So again, this name, right, I'll be looking at trade Tsla above 400, above 400 level. I'll look to play calls, and then if we end up breaking below a previous day low, which is gonna be this 389, 389, yeah, I'll be looking at short this name, right? Very, very straightforward. Again, after hours, which is on a hyper liquid 24 hours market, we've already reclaimed 400 on the 24-hour market. So if we open up on Monday above 400, we can expect to play his name again back up to those key levels, right? And what key levels can we target on this name, right? Above 400, we can target this 402.38. Then we can target this 405, 404.85. And then we can target this 405.94. So we have clear levels, right? We just want to see if we show strong price action or we chop. That's the most important thing, right? So Tsla, now let's talk about NVIDIA. So what's happening on NVIDIA, right? Higher time frame NVIDIA is clearly bearish, right? This name just has been consolidating. Again, NVIDIA has been kind of lagging compared to other names like MUSNDK, AMD. So this name, right, you have to be a little more cautious. Again, I'm only going to look to play this name calls if we're above 200 key level. Otherwise, if we break below 192, I'm going to look to short this name. It's that simple. Otherwise, if those two things don't happen, I'm not going to look to trade his name at all. Right, so now let's talk about Amazon. So this name, right, has just been chopping around. So again, I would advise you to avoid playing this name at all, just because it's just very choppy, very, very choppy price action on this name. And the only way I would play calls if we get above this this 247, right? If we get above 247, we have a nice gap up, we show strong price action, then maybe I'll look to place him. Otherwise, right, I'd rather avoid this name to both upside and downside, right? It's just not worth it. Higher time frame is just way too choppy. Now Microsoft, let's look at this name. Microsoft, right, again, guys, Microsoft, we can clearly see, right, we're showing strong buyers off this prior area of support. So again, Microsoft higher time frame does look like we're showing some strong buyers. So again, we can keep it out this name just simply playing with the trend calls above 392, right? 392, we can keep it out on Microsoft, right? And then what do you want to target? We're going to target, of course, this 400 key psych level. And then for other objectives, right, we can target this 394.30. And then let's see if there's levels over here. Yeah, it's 397. So again, there's not a lot of good levels on Microsoft, but again, we can kind of keep it on this name for that kind of 400 reclaim on Microsoft. But yeah, this name is looking a little bit better than other names, of course, right? Showing that strong buyers off this previous pivot area, right? So again, we're playing with the trend, higher high, higher low, higher high. If we can get a good entry on this name looks good for longs, right? Of course, if the market looks good as well. So this name we can keep it out for next week. So what's another name we keep out? Meta. So this name, right, has been having insane pretty price action, right? Like news coming out back and forth, we've just been bouncing up and down. Like, guys, this name is literally insane, right? And it's not insane in a good way. It's insane where you want to avoid this name at all costs, right? This is not a name where you can consistently day trade this name, right? This will be a name where you will probably lose more money because it just chops majority of the time, and then we have big swings after hours with news. So again, this name, I would avoid trading this name, to be honest. I would just avoid trading this name at all. Maybe if we reclaim 600, we show strong buyers, you can potentially scalp this name. But again, I would just avoid trading this name, to be honest, right? This is just more of a name you want to buy for the long-term portfolio, just because I feel like Meta is undervalued a little bit. Again, it's not financial advice, but this name I feel like is more better if you just want to buy shares rather than day trading, just because this is just way too chop, right? We've been in this chop zone for so long, right? It's saying choppiness, right? But it's worse. It's at least Tesla, right? We're in that choppiness, but we at least show clean price action. This name does not show clean price action. It's just very, very choppy. A lot of fake outs on Meta, and also the contracts have bigger spreads, so it's just not worth it, in my opinion, right? And now let's talk about Palantir. This fair is 4 minutes long. Okay, so Palantir, right? So again, this name is clearly showing strong buyers, right? I'm not even sure if this is the area of bouncing off support, right? But again, we're bouncing off as 108 very nicely on Palantir. And so this name, again, I'm not going to I'm gonna keep it on this name, but again, this is gonna be in the back of my checklist, right? Clearly, we're showing strong buyers, some momentum, bouncing off that 108, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So again, we can keep it out of this name for calls, right? I'm not looking to short this name at all unless we get below this 125. Then maybe I can potentially short this name back down to that 120. Otherwise, right, I'll be looking to long this name above right 132. But again, I would rather avoid this name on Palantir, to be honest, right? Just because this name is likes to chop around. But if we do show strong buyers, then this name, right, does not look that bad. But again, yeah, no, I don't know. It just depends on the price action where we open up. Otherwise, right, if you open above our previously high level, then we can look to trade Palantir, right? And what levels? We can look above previously high level, which will be this 131, right? 132. We can look to long Palantir into this 136, right? That'll be our main objective on a higher time frame. So if Palantir does open up, I expect Palantir to do something like this, right? In a long scenario, right? We can say do this, we retest that previous high level, probably in the first 5 minutes of market open, and then we're gonna target that 136 in the higher time frame, bro. Yeah, no, I don't know. But yeah, so Palantir, clear objectives, but again, the price action, we have to see if we show relative strength or not, right? It's not a clear trade because there's a very high chance we can just chop in the zone because we clear chop in the zone. But if the momentum does continue, then that 136 will be that first main objective on the higher time frame, right? Clear higher time frame objective, which is this level right here, right? And yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I think I went over pretty much every single name that I usually look at, right? Hood, again, this name, right? Long-term portfolio is looking very good. For day trading, this name, right, is also looking decent. Again, if you want to trade this name, right, be a little bit more cautious that this name, right, will likely have more gap ups than clearing price action in the day. But again, this name does look pretty decent for the upside, right? We're now reclaiming the 100 key level in the higher time frame, right? Very, very nice bounce off this prior aura block on the higher time frame. If you go on the 4-hour chart, right? Very, very nice kind of break and retest on the higher time frame, showing nice momentum. So this name, right, is a very good long-term position. If you guys want to buy this, right? Very, very good long-term position, right? Of course, your best area to buy this name would have been in this aura block, right? Which I kind of called out in the past, but again, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm just yapping now, right? Very, very straightforward coming into this week, right? I expect a gap up on majority of these names because, as I said earlier, NQES, they have a kind of nice rebound. On the Hyperliquid, we have small bounces on this name, like Tesla reclaiming 400. I didn't check the other names, but again, so likely in the session, right? I don't know, we don't know for sure, right? But it looking like we're gonna have a small bounce on Monday. So let's see if we kind of can show strong price action and we can have a nice trade on Monday, right, to the upside. And yeah, I mean, again, my main watches, right, would be Tesla above 400, would be Microsoft. I would avoid all the other names. Actually, let me just see. Yeah, so I think I talked about everything, right? Microsoft, Palantir, Apple. So how about Apple, right? And then SpaceX. I'm not gonna touch SpaceX, to be honest. It's not really worth it. Apple. So let's talk about Apple now. So Apple had a very, very insane break and retest on the higher time frame, right? Apple showing very strong price action. This has to be news. Yeah, it's 100% news, but Apple showing a very, very strong bullish price action. So this name, right, looks very good for long, right? So again, I'm gonna keep it on Apple for a long just because of the momentum. It looks really, really good, right? Very, really, really good momentum. And again, I would keep it on Apple, right? And what targets can we look to kind of trade, right? Above 308, we can look to target, right? This 311.36, and then these clear higher time indexes that I've marked out, right? This 311.86 I said earlier, this 313, right? These levels I've marked out. Very, very straightforward levels, and then potentially all-time highs on Apple right here. Potentially, the momentum looks very, very good, right? Like, we really cannot say that this looks bad, right? I would not look to short this name at all. It's just not worth it, right? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? Apple is actually looking really, really good. I actually didn't even notice. So yeah, I mean, potentially we can look at trade Apple, right? These are our kind of higher probability trades with this momentum in the higher time frame. But yeah, Intel, yeah, no, Intel I can tell is going to be choppy. It's at 120, and yeah, I mean, I think I talked about every name, right? 9-minute long video, talked about all those names, what levels to look at, and yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. I'm gonna be honest, guys. What other things can we talk about, right? I don't know if there's any important news we have to keep an eye out for. But again, a lot of these news guys, us retail traders cannot really do anything because it just happens, and then whatever move happens, it happens, right? So retail traders were kind of cooked in that regard. But again, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, join the Discord down below. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. To keep these recaps or outlook short, but again, it's hard to keep them short when there's so much information. So I might not keep them short anymore, right? I these are hard to keep short because there's so much to talk about, right? A lot of these names are just take a long time to talk about, right? But yeah, I think I talked over pretty much every single name, right? What levels are bouncing off of, and again, the most important thing, guys, is not a higher time frame, unless like it's very obvious higher time frame, right? Like unless it's like AMD, not AMD, like Apple or like Microsoft, where we're clearly showing bullish market structure, right? But the most important thing, right, if you're day trading, is going to be that price action intraday, right? That first 5 to 10 minutes of price action showing that we're reclaiming our levels, maintaining higher highs and higher lows from that bullish market structure. Otherwise, you can have all this higher time frame, lower time frame, all this stuff. But if you can identify a name that is showing good price action, then you're just gonna be taking low probability trades, right? You can have that higher time frame alignment, but if you're taking lower time frame trash chop, then you're not gonna have a high win rate, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, I advise you guys to learn, right? Watch these videos, learn how to kind of read the higher time frame. It's very straightforward. You don't have to be a genius. Just understand like if we're bullish or bearish and what levels we're defending and what liquidity needs to be swept in each direction, right? Or what higher time frame targets we should target if we enter that trade, right? Like yeah, too much now. But yeah, um that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make a YouTube video this weekend. I mean, it's Saturday. Uh, yeah. Peace.